So, you want to be an IT architect. My name is Ian Lowe. And I will help explain the various architecture roles and how you can prepare yourself for the journey. There are so many types of architects in IT: enterprise architect, technical architect, integration architect, information architect, security architect, solutions architect, data architect, process architect, business architect, infrastructure architect, network architect, DevOps architect, cloud architect. With so many types of architecture roles, it can be difficult to see how to start your career planning. Let's begin by defining what is an architect. There are two definitions I like from the book, The Art of Systems Architecting 2nd edition. First, an architect is one who is engaged in the practice of creating systems architectures, primarily in a client-centric role, through use of a methodical process employing a combination of artistic and engineering approaches. The second is an individual engaged in the process of architecting, regardless of domain, job title, or employer, by definition and practice both. From time to time, an architect may perform engineering and an engineer may perform architecting, whatever it takes to get the job done. So, what is the difference between an architect and an engineer? Architecting deals largely with unmeasurable using non-quantitative tools and guidelines based on practical lessons learned, that is, architecting is an inductive process. While engineering deals almost entirely with measurable using analytic tools derived from mathematics and the hard sciences, that is, engineering is a deductive process. Every individual act of building is a process, in which space is differentiated. It is not a process of addition, in which preformed parts are combined to create a whole, but a process of unfolding, in which the whole precedes the parts, and actually gives birth to them, by splitting. Today's systems architecting is driven by the same purposes as civil architecture: to create and build systems that are too complex to be treated by engineering analysis alone. The word architecting refers only to the process. Architecting is an invented word to describe how architectures are created, as much as engineering describes how engines and other artifacts are created. So, what is architecture? It is a set of emerging attributes which connote the high-level set of functions or attributes of a system or system of systems. It is also a set of descriptions, comprising a model that represents, in abstract sets of systems components, to be assembled as a system or system of systems. And it is also considered a structure, a process, or a profession. What do architects do? Well, architects are observers of behavior. We look at how systems work, how they interact with other systems. We also look at how people use systems, how they expect systems to fit into their environment. We look at where the systems are used, the constraints around them. Architects also create space where these patterns of behavior can happen, flourish, and be generative. We need to see how to create space to design, improve, change existing systems. Our role is to observe the behavior and pattern language in our customers, to distill large complex systems into subportions that can be worked on by various teams. Let's talk a bit on the more specific roles and responsibilities of an architect. The architect has to be a planner to create roadmaps, highlight milestones, deliverables, and activities. You need to be able to show the end vision of any architecture. The architect needs to be a leader. It is your job to help clarify goals and expectations, and keeping everyone on the right track. The architect needs to be a great communicator. You must be able to explain your work to people outside of the IT field. This responsibility also includes handling any conflicts that arise. Stakeholder management is another important role. Architects must appreciate how IT and business cultures intersect and how to establish common ground. The architect also needs to play the role of a consultant. You need to advise, consult, and demystify the processes to benefit everyone involved and build trust and working relationships. And lastly, you also need to be the change agent. By the very nature of the work you do for the organization, IT architects are agents of change. They must understand how changes will affect different aspects of the business, such as business processes and functions, personnel, data, and application and infrastructural changes. These changes aren't just limited to the current project, either. They must also consider what future changes may be needed, including adding new processes or more advanced technologies. Let's shift to some more concrete concerns. The architect has to balance some opposing constraints to find the right solution. On one side, there is the core technology solution. Are we using the best technology or design to address the issue? On the other side, we need to consider the cost. What is the best solution we can afford? Do I need to adjust the technology choice? On another dimension, we need to look at internal factors. Are the internal skills, language, culture a fit for the solution? Will there be great resistance to the solutions? On the other hand, we need to look at external geopolitical considerations. Will there be any export embargo on the technology? Where is the customer support for the technology vendor? Are they in the same time zone? Do they have the right language capability? The architect has to make sure they consider all these factors, and many are these need mix of formal education and experiences to help you make the right decision.